What is up, guys? Londrick here, and now I'm back with Wrestling 2017 Q&A. So, like another Q&A session, I'm sure regular viewers of the channel know how this works. So, no need for a big introduction. We're going to just dive right into the questions and have a maybe have a quick little channel update at the end of this video. So, let's go. First question from Diesel101 Raw. Thoughts on doing a remake of the vid talking dream matches for AJ Stars and did pretty much all of them. Going to be honest, I don't know what you thought. I've never seen this video that Dude remade, so can't really comment on that. So I literally have no idea what was on it. I would guess Cena was on it. I would guess Orton was on it. I'm guessing Brock would have been on it. I'm guessing Finn Balor would have been on it. So yeah, I think the Usos are the tag team of the year. I remember in 2014 there was an argument between Young Bucks and the Usos for tag team of the year. Do you think the Usos are a candidate for tag team of the decade? Yes, but first off, for me anyway, just me personally, I would probably have the Usos as number 2 tag team of the year. For me, Sheamus and Cesaro at the bar, for me, the tag team of the year. That's mainly down to personal taste, I suppose. I just like the big, rugged style. I mean, Cesaro, holy fuck. I'm sure people don't even tell them how good Cesaro is, I think. We've known this for about 4 or 5 years now, how good he is. And I think this has been awesome for Sheamus, teaming with Cesaro. Let's be honest, Sheamus got really stale as a singles guy at some point. You remember 2015, he won the Money in the Bank, he was a WWE champion, but people didn't really care. 2016, he was just kind of around on the roster, not really making much of an impact. Then the whole thing with Cesaro. And even the way Sheamus and Cesaro got together was a bit dodgy at the start, but they really have developed into a world-class tag team. But to answer your second question, I'll say absolutely. From 2010 to now, the Usos, pretty sure they're the only team that WWE that started in 2010 that are still together. Pretty sure of that. Could be wrong. Yeah, I've got to say, yeah, if you had a top 5 tag teams of the decade, Usos would definitely be in there. You could even make a case and be number 1 because they've had both great runs as a fun babyface tag team that they were in like 2013, 2014. Very kid-friendly, energetic, high-flying, all that. And now they've reinvented themselves as great heels when they turned heel last year, but I feel like they only really found the groove as heels this year. Particularly that feud of the New Day. It's going to be one of the best tag team feuds on the main roster in God knows how long. Since SmackDown 6 trio feud in 2002, maybe? Off the top of my head, there might have been others, but that's the last truly great one that comes to mind before this. So, yeah, I'd definitely go for the Usos. I'd definitely be in that discussion. Then, agree or disagree, AJ should never have lost the title. To begin with, looking back, AJ shouldn't have lost the title at that time. I agree with that. Obviously, at some point in the year, he probably should have lost the title just because you don't want to have the title for too long. But you got to look at this really. He lost the belt to Cena at Royal Rumble, which led to Cena having a 2-week title reign, which, honestly, what the hell was the point in that? So, Cena's reign kind of felt like totally pointless, really. If AJ lost to Cena and Cena had held the belt at WrestleMania, I would have been a lot more fans. But then Bray Wyatt won the belt. Yeah, that wasn't very good, was it? Bray Wyatt's title reign probably came a bit late, and then obviously let the whole thing on. And Orton was a fairly boring babyface champion. And then, oh god, don't worry, we're going to get this more detail later on. And Jinder Mahal won the fucking title. So I'd have probably kept the title on AJ till about June, maybe, or maybe SummerSlam time, and then maybe someone else could have took the title there, and then or maybe AJ could have won it back around the time he did. But yeah, obviously I feel like just obviously I think AJ obviously is the best wrestler in the WWE right now. Has been since the day he signed, to be honest with you. And I just feel like him as WWE champion gives the belt a lot more credibility. Him being, especially on SmackDown side, I think he is the guy on SmackDown right now. Has been pretty much since he got there. So yeah, I think AJ should have had the title for the majority of this year, definitely. And we have is AJ Styles versus Kenny Omega, the biggest dream match right now. Yep, I'll say so. I mean, obviously they've blown a couple this year. I mean, they did John Cena versus Roman Reigns. That was probably the one biggest dream match for me, but they already did that. And then obviously Lesnar Strowman, they've done that. They did Lesnar and Samoa Joe, Lesnar and AJ. So yeah, you got, and obviously Okada's pretty much, I suppose you can say Okada Cena's got to rival it, but AJ Styles, best wrestler in the WWE. Omega, the best North American wrestler in New Japan. I mean, there'll be a perfect story behind the match with AJ being the Bullet Club leader, and then Omega ousting him and taking over. And you could argue Kenny Omega's had a better run in New Japan than AJ ever did. So wow. And then so yeah, I feel like if this match happened and it got the proper time and all that, in either promotion really, it doesn't really matter. I feel like this could be a match of the decade contender for sure. I mean, I think Peter would lose a shit if we ever got AJ versus Kenny Omega. I would anyway. And then we've got a biggest Okada dream matches of wrestlers today. So the first person that comes to mind is John Cena. I mean, John Cena, the biggest star in WWE for the last 15 years. Okada, of course, right now the top guy in New Japan. Yeah, I just think that's a natural, isn't it, really? And of course, as you've seen over the years, put Cena in the ring with guys like this, you'll have an awesome match. But this will be an awesome match for sure. Now, bear in mind, Okada's pretty much wrestled everyone in New Japan. And wrestled AJ Styles in New Japan quite a few times. So then you're probably looking Brock Lesnar, I would say, you've got to be thinking of. I mean, granted, Brock Lesnar might not be asked to work a proper match, but as far as level of stars, it would probably be a dream match. Then you've got to say Roman Reigns. Love him or hate him, Reigns is probably the top full-time guy in WWE, facing the top guy in New Japan, so that pretty much works, doesn't it? Then I'm thinking Seth Rollins. I mean, I'm going to say something right now. I think it's been quite a while since Seth Rollins had that truly awesome singles match. I mean, he's had some great singles matches, don't get me wrong, but like some of the stuff he was doing back in 2015, some of his best work is Tyler Black in Ring of Honor. It's been a while since he had that kind of match, and obviously I feel like putting him in the ring of Okada, that would probably get the absolute best out of Rollins, and he'd probably have an amazing match. And this one's maybe just for me, maybe other people aren't as bothered. I think Samoa Joe, pretty sure they've never wrestled before. At least on this level, I think really like badass motherfucker Samoa Joe and Okada. That'd be money. I'd be like, wow. That man, especially if they had the match in New Japan as well, I think that'd be fucking awesome. And then maybe, how about another one? Just throw it out there. Don't know how many people know about Keith Lee. But it's pretty much the indie guy's resident monster. I've seen a handful of his matches and I really like his work, and I think like, if he had a match with Okada in Japan, that'd be physical as fuck. So yeah, I'll go with that one. Then we've got Brandon Alexander. Now this is a good one. If you had to create a G1 for WWE in 2007, who would it be? Block A, Raw, and Block B, SmackDown finalists and the ultimate winner. So we'll go off the Raw one first, and of course we have 10 superstars. And for the purposes of this, I'm going to put in Brock Lesnar. So we've got Roman Reigns, obviously. Brock Lesnar, that's 2. Braun Strowman. Samoa Joe. Seth Rollins, obviously. Dean Ambrose, that's 6, isn't it? Finn Balor for 7. Put the Miz in there, because why the hell not? He's probably over. Then number 9, we've got Bray Wyatt. Just put him in there. And then number 10, who's trying to think? why not for the hell of it just put Jason Jordan in there? I mean, see what you will about his character, but he's a damn good wrestler, so that's your Raw guys, and you've got, so for the purposes of this, I know John Cena's a free agent and all that, so, but I'm going to put him in for Team SmackDown. So obviously SmackDown, we've got AJ Styles, John Cena, so then we've got Randy Orton, Shinsuke Nakamura, Bobby Roode for 5, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, that makes up 7. So I suppose since he's been doing champion, we'll put Jinder Mahal in there, because why the hell not? So I need 2 spots. Baron Corbin for 9. One more. I'm trying to think the SmackDown roster off the top of my head. Dolph Ziggler, because why not? Good enough veteran in there, so those are your blocks. And then the Raw block final comes down to Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns, sorry, is like the 2 finalists. And then you can have Roman Reigns defeat Brock Lesnar. SmackDown one comes down to John Cena versus AJ Styles, the big rematch. And then AJ can defeat John Cena. So then you got the ultimate final now between Roman Reigns for Raw and AJ Styles for SmackDown. And because this is my video and the question was from me, this answer is just mine. So don't come at me Roman marks and all that, but AJ Styles will then defeat Roman Reigns to win the WWE G1 Climax. And then on the same token, this one's a bit harder, but I'll give it a best shot. Same thing here as the women, except you can include NXT and Mae Young Classic women, and you don't have to divide by shows. For example, Block A, you might have 4 Raw women, 3 SmackDown, 3 from NXT, Mae Young Classic. So, however, for this one, I'm going to slightly cheat and narrow it down to 8 in each block. So instead of 10, I'm going to go for 8. Block A will have Asuka. She can be like the main one on Block A. Then Block B, we're going to have the boss Sasha Banks. Number 2 for Block A, Sasha Banks. So we're Asuka and Sasha Banks. Trying to think of the rosters, like, cause I'm trying to mix it up a bit, you see. So we have Nikki Cross in there as an NXT woman. Who have we got? We can have, we'll put Bayley in there as 4, Natalia 5, we'll have a veteran Mickie James in 6, and I'm trying to think of the NXT birds. Fuck, this one's quite hard actually, to be fair. This is a really good question. So got 6. We will have, put Peyton Royce in there from NXT and Naomi from SmackDown. So that's Block A. Then we'll have Block B as Charlotte Flair, Nia Jax, Kairi Sane from NXT, Becky Lynch, we'll put her in there. Who else have we got here? I put Talia in the last one, didn't I? Pretty sure I did. Alexa Bliss from the Raw brand, Ember Moon. Put Shayna Baszler from the Mae Young Classic, and we'll put Paige in there because she's just come back. So then we can have the Block A final of Asuka versus Sasha Banks. Asuka can defeat the boss, and then Block B, because I think this, because of how like Nia Jax has progressed, I think this will be a really cool match now. Nia Jax versus Charlotte Flair, and then Charlotte can beat Nia, and that gives us a dream final. Well, for me, this is probably the biggest dream women's match WWE can do right now, and hopefully they will do it at some point, and that's Asuka winning Block A versus Charlotte winning Block B. And then what you can do then is give Asuka a first defeat and have Charlotte be the one to end Asuka's streak, and then Charlotte to win the women's G1, which, to be fair, as much as I like Asuka, I think all around Charlotte's probably the best women's wrestler in the world, for me anyway. So there we go. That was a great question. Then we got Gold Standard 00924. Wait, comment. Haven't got around watching Lucha Underground New Japan, but mainly WWE related questions. So, is it surprising that Kevin Owens never got his rematch for the Universal title once he lost the belt? Not really, because let's be honest, that rematch rule only counts for the WWE. I mean, you say that, but you could also say, why didn't Finn Balor get his rematch for the title that he never lost? I mean, Finn Balor's never had a Universal title match. I think the biggest example, 2015, when Daniel Bryan returned, he never lost the WWE title, never got a rematch. And obviously, recently in NXT, Bobby Roode lost to Drew McIntyre, and rather than get his rematch, he went to SmackDown instead. So, and obviously, this was all circumstantial, wasn't it? So, Owens lost the belt to Goldberg, so Goldberg could fight Brock at WrestleMania. Then at the same time, Kevin Owens was challenging Chris Jericho for the US title that same show. Then, of course, Brock wins the world title, the Universal title at WrestleMania, and then pisses off for 3 months. And then Kevin Owens gets drafted to SmackDown, so never happened really. And did John Cena get a rematch? Ah, yes, he did, because it was Bray Cena and AJ on SmackDown, wasn't it? Anyway, do you think WWE rushed Cena Reigns? Could they have built it better on a major pay-per-view? Yes. I mean, that's the one takeaway I really got watching this match. Obviously, it felt like a big match and all that, but I just couldn't help thinking this should have been on a much bigger stage. I mean, no disrespect to No Mercy, but it really is a B pay-per-view. And this match between Cena and Reigns was probably the biggest dream match between the current roster you could do. And they definitely rushed it with 5 weeks worth of build-up on a Raw pay-per-view in September. I mean, this easily, I suppose it's probably because of Cena's filming schedule, but they could have easily done this as Survivor Series, or they could have had it for the Royal Rumble this year. Hell, I mean, obviously they're going to do Reigns and Letter at WrestleMania, but for me, Cena Reigns was definitely a WrestleMania match at some point. I mean, don't get me wrong, they probably will wrestle at a WrestleMania in the future, but with it not being a first time match, it would kind of take away from it a little bit, in my opinion. So I absolutely agree with that statement. As much as enjoyable Reigns and Cena might have been at No Mercy, should have been on a bigger stage, absolutely. And yeah, most certainly should have had more build up than just a month, definitely. Since the revival of the brand extension, what's up with the Raw Women's division centered around mean spirited champs like Charlotte and Alexa Bliss? Will there come a time when a babyface gets a proper run on top? Oh, I agree with that. I mean, I don't know. Obviously, I don't know why that is. I'm just assuming they really want the heel champion. But you're right. I mean, let's be honest. Bayley's run just didn't go well, did it? I mean, don't want to get a big rant and rave about what they did with Bayley, and then probably the stupidest title win this year was Sasha Banks winning the belt at SummerSlam. Because, like, seriously, what was the point in that? I mean, they gave her the title for a 4th time. Then 8 days later on Raw, she just lost the belt right back to Alexa Bliss. So you might as well have not even bothered giving her the title in the first place. As far as your second question, will a babyface get a proper run on the top of Raw's Women's Division? Asuka. If you think anyway, I mean, God knows with this company they might be stupid enough not to do this, but common sense dictates that Asuka wins the Raw Women's title in the not too distant future, and has a 3 or 4 month run at least with the title. You'd think so anyway, that's just common sense, but we'll see how that happens. We'll see what happens there. Then, what was your reaction regarding the Superstar shake-up? Feels more potential than they could have been. It wasn't bad. I mean, my big fear was they were going to rape Raw and give SmackDown all the booby prizes. And they kind of did to an extent. I mean, I feel like SmackDown could have done without losing The Miz and Dean Ambrose. But they did get Kevin Owens, which is a bonus. And they got 2 great additions in Charlotte and the New Day. But then, of course, Superstar shake-up resulted in Jinder Mahal being the WWE champion. Because let's be honest, if Jinder had stayed on Raw, there was no chance he would have been anywhere near a world title. I don't think it was bad. I feel like it was decent enough, to be honest with you. There wasn't that much about it that really made me mad or anything. I mean, granted, I do feel Raw probably got the better overall shake in the deal, but But I will say some bad points though. Some of the SmackDown mid-carders went to Raw and then went even more downhill. Look, Heath Slater and Rhino's biggest example. I mean, on a small show like SmackDown, they really got over and did quite well, and then now they went to Raw. And what the hell are they doing right now? I mean, really? I mean, you're absolutely fuck all on Raw. Apollo Crews, another one. If he stayed on SmackDown, I got a chance to develop a little bit more. Maybe he'd be doing better right now, but now he's basically in Titus Brand, getting beat up by Samoa Joe every week. So those aspects I thought was bad. And I'm sure there'll be another one in 2018 as well. I mean, my biggest fear, of course, was SmackDown losing AJ Styles to Raw. Thankfully, Cena has revealed that never happened. But that was one that everyone was expecting. I'm glad it didn't. So, yeah. Thoughts on how to dissolving tag teams this year, i.e. American Alpha, Enzo and Cass. So, yeah, they went through a period of about 2 or 3 months of randomly dissolving tag teams. And that includes NXT as well, as they're split up DIY. Obviously, Enzo and Cass split up around the summer with Cass turning heel, which is ironic now that Enzo's also turned heel. I would say that one was probably fine. I mean, obviously you look at Big Cass and you can see singles potential in him. Enzo, after a rough start, has kind of turned it around and become a good obnoxious heel in the Cruiserweight division. American Alpha, I feel like that was a mistake, to be honest. I think both guys, I mean, obviously, I feel like Jason Jordan would have been better off staying with Chad and American Alpha. And I feel like Chad Gable's size and look, he's probably best off in doing a title. Because honestly, I just don't think Vince will ever see Chad Gable as a top singles guy. Who else broke up this year? There must have been some others I can't think of right now. I mean, shit. There must have been more, but I can't think of them. But yeah, I think it's fine. I mean, it's not a big deal. I mean, we still have great tag teams out there, such as the Usos and New Day. Even Breezango's done quite well for themselves, despite me not being a big fan of the gimmick as much. Then the Raw side, Sheamus and Cesaro. The Hardy Boys, which unfortunately is on the back burner now with Jeff being injured. The big disappointment has been the Revival. I mean, injuries have pretty much murdered their main roster run. First it was Wilder getting injured, and then Dawson got injured. So hopefully these guys will come back and have a much better 2018. But there we go. Next question is Hitman Fan 683. Best/worst pay-per-view main roster. So, best, I probably will Survivor Series is the best, really. And that was the last one. You had a great match between Brock and AJ. We had Usos versus Sheamus and Cesaro. The New Day versus The Shield. That's 3 great matches. Worst, I haven't seen it, but I'm going to assume, because all the reviews I've read are accurate and all that, but obviously Battleground looks like total shit. I still haven't seen Battleground yet, because I stopped watching WWE for a little bit, because I was just pissed off. I didn't really watch WWE much over the summer, because I was just pissed off of everything. And when I just read the reviews of Battleground, I thought, you know what, I can't be arsed. I cannot be arsed to watch this. But it sounds like it was total shit, so I'm willing to just back people's opinions and say this was the worst pay-per-view of the year. There we go. Do you think Baron Corbin should have cashed in Money in the Bank successfully? Yeah, I mean, would Baron Corbin have been a fantastic WWE champion? No. But would he have been better than Jinder Mahal? Yeah. I just feel like it made the Money in the Bank concept just look bad. I mean, for the last 2 years, we've barely had any Money in the Bank. I mean, Ambrose had it for a day. Corbin carried it around for a couple of months, and then for me, so what they could have done, they could have had Corbin cash in at SummerSlam, maybe on Nakamura, maybe, then a Hell in a Cell. They could have had the triple threat of Nakamura, Corbin and Mahal for the title, and then Corbin could have just lost the title to AJ Styles in Manchester like Mahal did. I mean, even if Corbin only had the belt for less than 3 months, I think that would have been better. Sorry, I got interrupted by someone coming to my door there. Right, so we talk about Baron Corbin, whatever, yeah. I feel like, yeah, even if Baron Corbin had it for 2 or 3 months, I feel that would have been a lot better than Jinder Mahal's reign continuing, to be honest with you. So yeah, why not? What have we got? What New Japan talent will be better off in WWE and vice versa? So for New Japan, not that many really, because I feel like most of them are better served where they are. So people like Omega and that, I feel like he should just stay in New Japan for the foreseeable future. I mean, you look at how WWE's handled Nakamura on the main roster. So if I want the big Japanese talent such as Ibushi and Tanahashi and all that, and Okada, I'm thinking better off staying put in New Japan. So I'll say a few just for the sake of having an answer, so it's not like a boring answer. So I think Bad Luck Fale would be the obvious one. I mean, with his size and his look, he's probably got better being suited in WWE, because being big and having the look and all that's not as important in Japan as it is in the WWE. Bad Luck Fale, he's never going to really break through in New Japan, where in WWE, with his size and his look, maybe he gets a manager or something, maybe he has a shot of breaking into the upper card. Then I guess Davey Boy Smith Jr., Harry Smith, D.H. Smith, whatever you want to call him, feel like, why the hell's he not in the WWE? I mean, like I said, New Japan, like, it's not really about size as much in New Japan as it is in WWE. So he's doing great in the tag division, yeah, but I feel like he could be a star in the WWE. His size, his look, his family history and all that, he could do well in the WWE this time round. Then I guess War Machine, possibly there could be more NXT, but I feel like obviously with the success of the Authors of Pain this year, Killian Dane's doing really well there. Big badass motherfuckers, they'd probably do alright in the WWE, I think. Then as far as WWE guys in New Japan, there's a few. I'll say Rusev comes to mind. I mean, that's a guy who's just really wasted by the WWE right now. And he's still young, and you can still grow. So I feel like a guy like him coming to New... Oh, God, could you imagine Rusev versus Ishii in New Japan? Holy shit, the bed, that'd be something, wouldn't it, really? I mean... Then I think obviously he hasn't left the company officially yet, but it looks like he probably will, and that's Neville. I mean, obviously the whole Neville thing's been dragging on for a couple of months now. Still no real resolution to that. So I'm not sure when he officially is going to leave the WWE, but if he goes there, faces like the Will Ospreay, faces like the Kushida, faces like the Marty Scurll, then fuck, that's going to be really something awesome, isn't it, really? Another guy that comes to mind, Hideo Itami. I mean, he's been in NXT for the last 3 years. Granted, he's been injured for much of that time. Now he's coming up on 205, but let's be honest, there's not much hope for him, is he really, on there? I mean, so I think he's still only like 36 or 35 or something like that. He's not old. So if he came back, maybe went to New Japan, I think maybe you put him in a ring of the likes of Ibushi and all that. That'd be really interesting. Then who else would be? Let's have a little scan of the roster and have a thing. I think Cesaro, although yeah, he's doing well, but I feel like he's kind of bounced off the glass ceiling in WWE. I mean, let's be honest, now Cesaro's never going to be higher than he is. I mean, this is probably as good as ever going to get for Cesaro in the WWE. But I feel like he's coming to New Japan now and be one of the top foreign talents in the company. I mean, still only 36, so that's about the same age AJ was when he came in. Now, I'm not saying Cesaro could be IWGP champion, but you could easily see him walking in there having awesome matches with people like Ishii and Tanahashi and Goto and all those guys, people like Zack Sabre Jr. and people like that. So him, and then a controversial, well, not a controversial one, but more of a high profile one. I feel like Shinsuke Nakamura would be better off back in New Japan. I mean, his main roster run has just not gone according to plan, I don't think. Hasn't been terrible, but considering all the hype behind him, it has kind of been a letdown. I mean, let's be honest, the fear of Jinder Mahal just kind of sucked the life out of him. So let's say get AJ to WrestleMania to have that match with AJ Styles that everyone thinks he should have. And maybe after that he can, or at the end of his contract, go back to New Japan, I feel like, And this may be an unpopular opinion, but I'm going to express it anyway. But I feel like Nakamura hasn't really adapted to WWE style like I thought he would. Thing is, with Nakamura, I feel like he has his style, his Japanese strong style, and he can only really work that style, whereas I feel like so if guys can't adapt to Nakamura's style, he doesn't really have many good matches. I mean, look at the awkward matches he had with Baron Corbin, the Jinder Mahal matches, which is, although to be fair, that was more down to Jinder, but I feel like someone like AJ Styles is more versatile in the ring. He can adapt to different people's style. I mean, you got to look at them. I feel like you saw the match AJ had with Jinder Mahal when he won the title. That was by far Jinder's best ever match in WWE on the main roster. But I feel like that was definitely more down to AJ being a better, more versatile talent than Nakamura overall. Whether Nakamura comes back to New Japan now, he could slot right back in there. For one, I don't think he ever wrestled Kenny Omega in Japan. Just throwing that one out there. I think he only wrestled Naito a couple of times. So Omega Naito, there's two big feuds he could immediately have. And obviously him and Ibushi can hook up again. That'd be awesome. So yeah. And then last question for you. I don't know. Yes, sure, that's right. Do you know about the NWA reboot under Billy Corgan? And if so, what's your take? I know about it. I mean, there's another question about us later on, but I've not really been paying that much attention. I've just not been that interested in it. I will say though, I would like for him to succeed for no other reason, just stick it to Impact, because being Dixie Carter in particular, she's not there anymore, but fair the way he was treated was nothing short of a disgrace, to be honest with you. Yeah, I think that was absolutely disgraceful how he was treated by that company. And I feel like he's generally a nice, good guy. I mean, I think he generally wants us to work, but I have seen it, but it's going to be hard because it's going to take a lot of time and investment for sure, because, yeah, he's bought the NWA, but what's the NWA even mean anymore? I mean, you know what I mean? I mean, hasn't really been relevant since the late 80s, I mean. Pretty much since Vince vanquished all the territories back in the late 80s, the NWA name hasn't really meant shit. I mean, yeah, possibly you could say when it was associated with TNA about 14, 15 years ago, but it really is a small time thing now. Now, like I say, to build that back up, it's going to take a lot of time and effort. I mean, I saw like there's a guy called Tim Storm who's the NWA champion, but the problem is the guy's like 52. So first thing Billy Corgan's got to do is find a younger guy to build his company around. I mean, looks like that guy could be Magnus, and if so, not a bad choice. But we'll see. But I can't really see it being that big. I mean, look at all the promotions we got out there now that fans can watch. Impact Wrestling, New Japan, Ring of Honor, Evolve, PWG, RPW, that's Rev Pro Wrestling in England, Insane Championship Wrestling also from England. So I feel like nowadays, of all these indie companies around, it's a lot harder to make a splash than it was in, say, 2002, 2003. So we'll see. I would like to see him do well, but I really have my doubts about it. Then we got Greedy Selfish 97. How in the world did WWE fall so far after WrestleMania 33? We went from Cena and Styles at Royal Rumble to Jinder Mahal being WWE champion for several months. Well, you tell me. You tell me. I mean, I'd really love to have an answer to that, but I don't have a fucking clue, to be honest with you. I mean, yeah, I really did. I fall off a cliff, didn't I, really? I mean, SmackDown anyway, Raw. Well, Raw remained about the same quality throughout the year, to be honest. But SmackDown in particular, just nosedive, didn't it really have to shake up. I guess just the writing wasn't there, the talent wasn't there. Yeah, it wasn't very good, was it? I don't really know why, but obviously it did. I mean, if you watch the product, you'll probably know. Most underrated pay-per-views from WWE, NXT and New Japan. Well, I haven't really seen all the New Japan shows. I've more seen like matches, so I'm going to skip New Japan. So for NXT is a takeover, I'll pick one takeover because they were pretty much all good, weren't they, really? But I feel like Orlando's a hell of a show that people aren't talking about as much. I mean, I feel like Chicago and War Games are getting more attention, but at Orlando you had a Sanity versus Strong Young, Ono and someone else, I can't remember. Because it wasn't meant to be Noe Jose, wasn't it? But he got taken out. So hang on, Dillinger, Strong, Ono. Nah, sorry, it's good. I can't remember the fourth guy. That was a good opener. You had Asuka versus Ember Moon. Not as good as a Brooklyn match, but a very good match. We had Nakamura versus Bobby Roode in an excellent main event. Then of course Show Stealer, Revival versus DIY versus Authors of Pain. Then WWE. No Mercy was a good show overall. I mean, I liked No Mercy. We've seen a Reigns with Ambrose and Rollins versus The Bar. We had the 5-way women's match. Miz and Jordan was a good match. So if I had to pick one that was underrated, I'd probably say that. Since everyone's unfavourably comparing WWE 2007 to the WF in 1995, I'm going to be a little bit more positive and ask you, do you think New Japan 2007 is better on a par with WF in 2000? For me, no, but I don't think it's good, but I can understand people saying yes. But the reason I say no is because I feel like WF in 2000 had it all really. I mean, New Japan has amazing in-ring action, don't get me wrong, it absolutely does. Really does, but for me, I was brought up. But for me, I thought like WF 2000 more of a well-rounded product in the sense we had good in-ring action, often great pay-per-views, awesome storylines, fantastic promos, great characters. So in that sense, I've got to favour the WF in 2000. Let's do questions ones I kind of just touched upon earlier. Top 5 people in New Japan you'd like to see come to WWE, and top 5 people you'd really like to come to see New Japan. Well, I pretty much said the guys who I feel would be better off in each promotion. So rewind and go back to that question. Then we got Solomon Sessions. One question: what kind of teams would you want this year as a Survivor Series? I think heavyweights versus cruiserweights would have been cool. To be honest with you, I really had no problems with what the teams were. Obviously, the men's one, I would have rather have kept Triple H and John Cena out of there, to be honest with you. But apart from that, can't really complain too much. I mean, heavyweight versus cruiserweight's fine, but you're thinking it's probably going to, on paper, it's probably going to be a massive mismatch because the way WWE presents the heavyweights and the way WWE presents the cruiserweights, it's totally different things. So, here's one then. What if they did a Team 205 Live versus Team WWE UK, just as like a novelty match maybe, so you could have Enzo, Kalisto. I'm trying to think of the 205 Live roster now. Bugger. I'm trying to think who's on the roster. Tozawa, Jack Gallagher, and maybe Cedric Alexander to face Team WWE UK, which would be Pete Dunne, Tyler Bate, Trent Seven, Wolfgang and Mark Andrews. Just throwing that one out there. So, then we've got next question. Mr. Beatle 890, most underutilised WWE talent on the main roster this year. Rusev is the first person that comes to mind. It's got to be him, really, hasn't it? I mean, on the paper, this guy has it all. I mean, he's got size. I mean, he's not tall, but he's big, built and all that stuff. Very good in the ring. No one says he's great in the ring or anything like that, but he's definitely good. And I imagine if he was in there with like better workers like AJ and all that, he'd be easily having 4-star matches on a fairly regular basis. Fantastic athlete. Very good talker actually, which is, especially since English is his second language. He's just got this weird like comic timing where he's one of those guys who's not afraid to make fun of himself to get a laugh, which is cool. So yeah, so Rusev for that one. There we go. Who's been your favourite WWE tag team this year? Got to be Sheamus and Cesaro for me, definitely. I mean, Usos have been great, yeah. Then obviously NXT, Authors of Pain have really done well. Do you know what? I'm not going to give anything away, but I've got an NXT top 15 NXT matches list coming up, and despite only being together for 5 months, there's actually quite a few DIY matches on. But same as Cesaro, I think, for the presentation, the way they carry themselves as a team, the work they've been putting in. I mean, with like the Hardy Boys, Gallows and Anderson, especially Rollins and Ambrose, feel like those were really awesome matches. And I think, like, yeah, so it's got to be them guys, really, hasn't it? Most overrated match of 2017 so far. So, most overrated match. One that comes to mind. You might not. I don't think you've seen this one, but Kenny Omega versus Evil in the G1 Climax. I mean, a lot of people rate that match like 4 stars, 4.25 stars, but I didn't really like that match at all. It was alright, but I thought it was really sloppy as hell at times, and the match really didn't just flow at all. So I don't really see where that match gets all the praise, and then we'll do a WWE match as well, just to put it in there. I always found the Authors of Pain versus DIY ladder match at Chicago a bit overrated. I mean, I've seen 4.5 star ratings for that, and for me it's barely a 4-star match. I mean, it was just about great, yeah, but nowhere near a classic. As a matter of fact, I actually like the San Antonio match between the same two teams a lot better, so those two matches, anyway. Best championship reign in WWE so far in 2017. Oh well, I've got to admit, like, it's been kind of shit, hasn't it, for title reigns in WWE this year. Obviously AJ's WWE title reign ended at the Royal Rumble, so I can't really count that. And his current title reign has been less than a month. Don't even get me started on Jinder Mahal. Let's be face it, Brock Lesnar has been what it is. Guess the Miz is last in a Continental title run, if anything, really. I mean, that's the only one I can really actually. Can I count NXT? Fuck it, it's my video, I'm counting NXT. So, in that, I'm going to go with Asuka's women's title reign. I mean, it's been booked really strongly and all that. So I've already go with that one, Asuka's women's title reign. Although I did kind of like Bobby Roode's NXT title reign as well. We got thoughts on Jason Jordan's run since coming to Raw's Kurt Angle's son. Oh boy, this just hasn't gone well, has it? I mean, and I feel so horrible for the guy as well, because I feel like he's probably genuinely a good guy. He genuinely works his arse off. So Jordan came to Raw's Kurt Angle's son, which that just didn't get over, did it? I mean, I feel like it's in this era now where everyone knows the score. We all know wrestling's not real and all that shit, don't we? I just don't think the fans bought it, which is a shame. I feel like in a different era this could have been a pretty good storyline, but I think immediately most fans knew this was all bullshit, wasn't it? Then after that, it's just, the character's just not being good. I mean, they've been pushing him as a babyface, and fans just haven't accepted it, which is a shame, because I feel like he is really good. But some of his promos, like especially some of the early ones, sound like something Bob Backlund would say in 1982. But so he might as well just come out with "by golly" and "gosh darn it." But and yeah, and I think slowly turning into like, it reminded me a lot of Rocky Maivia back in the day. Yeah, fans just weren't buying it, then of course it's really gone to shit lately. But hopefully, I'm hoping anyway, leads to a big Jason Jordan heel turn, because I feel like if they do that, then he can be salvaged. But I think it'd be a shame if Jason Jordan failed, because I do feel like the kid has tremendous upside. I mean, young guy, size, athletic ability, great look. It's just the character and the personality that's lacking in him. And if you can find that, then maybe he'll do well. But I feel like they definitely have to turn him heel in order for it to work. There we go. Celtic Bird. What was the biggest botch you've seen all year? I can't really think of one, to be honest. I mean, they probably have been botches, I just can't remember them. So off the top of my head, I can't really think of anything. Then we got who's been your favourite female performer of the year. Got to be Asuka. I mean, just the way she presents herself as a star and all that, and an in-ring style. I mean, just feel like she's probably the most believable, normal-sized woman I've ever seen in WWE. So, discounting people like China, who obviously China was like a near 6 foot woman and bigger than most of the guys, and got to be Asuka. I just hope that God WWE don't ruin her on the main roster. Not going to lie, nervous as hell about that anyway. Then we got, not sure if this has been asked already, but what do you think of the Ric Flair 30 for 30 on ESPN? Yeah, I saw it a couple of weeks ago, and pretty fascinating documentary, really. Fantastic documentary. I mean, obviously, I don't know how many people know, but we don't have ESPN in the UK, so I had to watch it online on, I think it was Daily Motion I watched it on, so yeah, this was very revealing, wasn't it? Some of the stuff, I mean, obviously they talk about how great Ric Flair was in his career and all that, but I feel like the personal stuff was a lot more fascinating. I mean, we even had interviews with Flair's first wife, which I'd never seen her before. It was alright to put a picture to the name, face of the name, so we saw Ric Flair's ex-wife, Ric Flair's kids and all that, but some of the stuff was really eye-opening, like how much Flair was drinking back in the day. I mean, Flair reckons he drank like probably 10 beers and like a bunch of vodkas every day from about 72 till about 99. So you think that, holy fuck, there's these kids are on there. You can see his son David still harbours a bit of resentment towards him, but not really being there for him when he was a kid and all that. And that's understandable, it really is. I mean, obviously back then the life of a wrestler meant you were on the road 300 plus days a year, especially when Flair was the NWA champion. He didn't really have many days off, and Ric Flair was living the lifestyle of the Nature Boy, and then obviously the revelations of what the lifestyle led. Flair, he pretty much wasted all of his money back in the day. I mean, when Ric Flair was Ric Flair, I mean, when he was talking about all the stuff he's doing on TV, that wasn't a lie. Ric Flair really did all that stuff. So Ric Flair was making mega money back then, but obviously he never saved it. And then we got stuff about Reed is just, oh God. The stuff about Reed just doesn't bear thinking about. It's just horrible. I mean, what the fuck, man? Why the hell did you get in the heroin shit, dude? I mean, come on. Then obviously the big story about how Reed was going to be signed to the WWE, and I'm guessing it was about 2011 or something like that. It was 2011, 2012. Then turns out Reed failed the drug test. Then a pretty alarming story about how Triple H said to Flair, right, I want to give him advance warning, I'm going to give him another chance, let him know he's going to get drug tested again. So Triple H was pretty much giving the Flairs a heads up about Reed, and then Reed had another try to do it. And apparently the second time the drug test came back even worse, and the whole thing about Rick was obviously Rick being in denial. I mean, you kind of blame for that. I mean, obviously you think like if he's your son, you're probably in denial about what Reed Flair was doing. It's just, what the fuck? What a waste of a life, man, Reed. I mean, come on. On the surface, you seem to have it all. He's Ric Flair's son. He was an amazing athlete. I mean, he was a shoo-in to go on. Look what Charlotte's done. I mean, who's to say that Reed couldn't be doing what Charlotte's done in the WWE? But instead, he turned to drugs, and then, of course, horribly died in 2013 from a heroin overdose, which is just, honestly, it's horrible to think about, man. And then, obviously, the revelation, Flair was pretty much drinking all day and all night for a good year after that. And it might sound morbid to say, but reading about all this and like all this, it's kind of amazing that Ric Flair's even alive. I mean, by rights, all the stuff, all the drinking Flair's done in his life, and then obviously that period after Reed's death is just heartbreaking, and he shouldn't be alive, but I'm glad he is, because he gets to tell this story. So overall, I think I would definitely recommend this documentary. Everyone has to see it. It's quite fascinating, to be honest. Then we got Ty Overt Street next. Is this the worst WWE year in 2010s? I think so. I mean, I think it is, but maybe when we look back at this in about 2 or 3 years' time, maybe I'll think differently. But I've got to say, yeah, to be honest, I mean, I feel like this has been the biggest year since I've been a wrestling fan, where I've been the closest I've ever been on just giving up on the WWE completely. I mean, I watch the pay-per-views mainly for you guys, to be honest with you, because like mainly you guys want me to review all these pay-per-views and stuff. So a lot of the times I'm watching these pay-per-views only because of you guys, because you want me to review them and all that. Like, I'm not really excited to watch them. I mean, the biggest one, Hell in a Cell, I had to really motivate myself to watch that. Backlash was one of the ones, so I don't know if you've noticed, but you might think some of the reviews, pay-per-view reviews, aren't as good as the ones I've done in the past, and that's really because I've stopped caring as much. Yeah, the in-ring action's good. I mean, there's often even great, but I just feel like SmackDown's been total trash this year for the most part. Raw, it's been alright, but not great. And the problem is there's just too many pay-per-views, like 20 pay-per-views a year. So there's no time to really get invested in them. And especially the single-branded pay-per-views, I feel like hardly any of them really stand out as anything special. So, and then we had Jinder as a champion this year. Don't worry, we're going to get into that. Brock Lesnar's been gone most of the year. There's just not been that many positives to think of, is it really? At least 2015 had like amazing wrestling. 2010 I'll probably say is bad as well, but I feel like 2017's just been worse. So yeah, I don't want to be morbid and all that and sound like negative bastard, but yeah, I mean, you asked the question, so I honestly do feel like at this moment in time anyway, maybe me opinion will change in a couple of years' time, but 2017's been the worst year of the 2010s so far. Overall thoughts on the G1 Climax tournament. So yeah, I love this. I mean, that was it really. That's really what got me into New Japan properly. I mean, obviously, I did a video a while back, but being flirted with New Japan for a bit. Then I got really interested when Omega and Okada had their 2 matches. And this was the same time where I couldn't stand WWE anymore. So, because obviously, I think it was July when I switched off because I was just pissed off of everything. And then this came at a great time for me, because this is my chance to see a little bit more of the performers in New Japan. It was the first G1 I'd ever really seen from start to finish. Well, I didn't watch every single match, but I watched at least something from every single night of the tournament, and glad I did, because I feel like this is when I became a proper New Japan fan, and obviously that's going into Wrestle Kingdom. But yeah, also amazing talent in there, great stories such as Yuji Nagata's fight at the end of his career. Then you saw guys like Juice Robinson trying to make a name for themselves. And what I do like about these G1s is it's a bit more flexible for the booking. You can have upsets that you don't normally get. Because let's be honest, for the most part, Okada doesn't lose singles matches, does he? I mean, well, even though his matches are great, you know, pretty much 9 times out of 10 his IWGP title matches, Okada's going over. So, and I think they started the whole thing off with a bang with her. First night in the tournament, Zack Sabre Jr. tapped out Hiroshi Tanahashi, so that really got the sense of, oh shit, anything can happen here. And I think, like, obviously they set the tone. First night of their awesome main event with Ibushi and Tetsuya Naito. Then obviously the B block. I think the A block was better than the block B, to be honest with you, overall. Because obviously block A had Hiroki Goto, had Zack Sabre Jr., had Tanahashi, had Ibushi, it had Ishii, it had Naito. Don't get me wrong, block B had some good stuff with obviously Omega Okada, Suzuki, Michael Elgin, Juice Robinson, and all that sort of stuff. So I feel like the first 4 shows are great, and then obviously the middle section is kind of when not much happens really, then obviously it always picks up towards the end. What I loved is it looked like they were gonna go the route of having Omega and Okada going to the last, especially Okada's going to go undefeated, and then Evil beat him, and then on the same night Juice Robinson got a pinfall victory over Kenny Omega. Then of course Okada went to a draw Suzuki, so obviously it peaked at the last two nights of Tetsuya Naito and Hiroshi Tanahashi, and of course Omega Okada. But I loved what they did though, did the points, so Okada didn't have to win, but Omega did. So Okada could have took the match to a draw and survived, whereas Omega had to take it to Okada and then beat him. So I loved that. And of course the final between Naito and Omega was a classic. One of the best matches I've seen in the second best match this year, which you'll see that. Just keep your eye on the channel next week, is all I'll say. Or maybe even this week, who knows? You'll see that the right guy won the tournament. In my opinion, I think Naito was the right choice. So great. Did you expect to see Kurt Angle wrestling WWE this year? No. I mean, I expected his first match back to be WrestleMania 34. And in fairness, I feel like that's exactly what would have happened if Reigns hadn't gone down with meningitis. So obviously Kurt Angle, as you know, Kurt Angle wrestling in the TLC was a last minute thing. I feel like if it wasn't for that, it wouldn't happen, and Angle might not have even gotten the survivors for his team. But obviously with Kurt Angle signed back, I thought he would wrestle again, but I didn't think it'd be this year. I thought they would have had his first match back at the WrestleMania, and I feel like his first singles match in WWE will be at WrestleMania this year. And who knows, with Kurt's condition, that might be his one match and done, to be honest with you. Another question where I'm going to have to talk about it. Was Jinder Mahal's title reign the worst in history? I think so. Honestly, let's just preface this by saying, when I'm talking strictly about the WWE title, I mean, not the World Heavyweight title, not the Universal title, because let's face it, WWE, although they've tried over the years to try and sell us the idea of two equal world titles and equal footing, we all know the truth that the WWE title, we're talking about the one that goes back to Buddy Rogers in 1963, the one that AJ Styles currently holds, is the belt. It is. It just is. I mean, they can say World Heavyweight Champion. They can, obviously now we've got the Universal title, but we're not stupid. We know the WWE title is the belt, the real belt. So, and obviously discounting things like 1 day title reigns, 2 week title reigns, 3 week title reigns. So, because I think if you have a 2 or 3 week title reign, it's not really fair to judge. Or guys who had the title, had a one title defense, they got injured, like Daniel Bryan. I feel like there's been worse world champions in WWE. For example, I feel like Jack Swagger was a worse world champion than Jinder Mahal. I feel like the Great Khali was probably a worse champion than Jinder Mahal. And maybe even Rey Mysterio's world title reign was as bad as Jinder's. But as far as the big belt, and guys who had held the belt for a significant amount of time, I honestly do. I mean, I really do. I mean, I don't hate the guy. I just don't rate him as a main eventer. I really don't. I mean, and it's not really his fault. I mean, what's he supposed to say? Oh, no thanks, I don't want the title. I don't want to piss the marks off. You know what I mean? So, if you're looking at bad champions, you think Diesel, but I feel like Diesel at least felt like a top guy, felt like a main event champion, whereas Jinder Mahal doesn't. Big Show in 1999, that was a bad title reign, but again, I feel like Big Show had some credibility as a top guy in WWE, which Jinder Mahal's lacked. Same thing with Sergeant Slaughter in 1991. Could come across as a bad champion, but at least Slaughter was sort of a top guy in wrestling for a good 10 years at that point. And I think the title reign you could compare this with is JBL's in 2004, because there were similar circumstances. JBL, of course, was in the APA, and then obviously 3 months later he was the WWE champion. But The key here is, I feel like, one, JBL character was a lot better than Jinder Mahal's character. Two, JBL's mic skills were far, far, far superior to Jinder Mahal's. I mean, let's be honest. And I feel like over time, JBL grew into the role as champion. So, we put this way, at the start of JBL's reign and the end of JBL's reign, there was a noticeable improvement there, where I don't think there really was with Jinder. And even in JBL's title reign, he had some good matches, particularly with Eddie Guerrero. The 4-way Armageddon, the triple threat match at Rumble 05. Whereas Jinder's, let's be honest, Jinder's title defence is mostly kind of sucked, didn't he? The Jinder Randy Orton feud, fuck me. That was one of the worst title feuds ever, really, wasn't it? To be fair, in fairness to Jinder, I feel like Orton was the completely wrong opponent for him at the time as well. Because Randy Orton, I feel like Randy Orton basically just sleepwalks through his matches nowadays. I think especially when he's a babyface, he just doesn't seem to give a shit. Then, let's be honest, the Nakamura and Mahal feud was awful. And really, that just sucked the life out of SmackDown. So I think and obviously, I think he had his last title match with AJ was a good one. But that was more down to AJ in my opinion. Yeah, I don't care what people say. Call me a smark if you want. I don't really give a shit. It's my opinion, so there you go. But yeah, I know it's a big statement to make, yes. But I honest to God feel this way. I feel like the WWE title never meant as less as when Jinder Mahal had the title. So especially discounting like 1 day title reigns and 1 week title reigns and stuff. I've got to, honest to God, in my view, Jinder Mahal was the worst WWE champion I've ever seen. Sorry if that upsets Jinder fans, but that's honestly how I feel. There we go. Who's WWE's MVP of WWE this year? Ooh, do I dare say this? Roman Reigns. Did I just say that? Roman Reigns. Alright, that's fine. Yes, Roman Reigns. I've said it. Okay. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'll go with Roman Reigns, to be honest with you. I feel like, obviously, we've seen it going part-time now. Brock Lesnar part-time. I feel like Roman Reigns is the guy in WWE right now. Yeah, the fans aren't responding to him and all that, but I feel like he's done some good work. I mean, great Universal title match with Kevin Owens. Obviously, people talk about the success of Braun Strowman. However, I'll put this to you. Would Braun Strowman be the monster he became if it wasn't for Roman Reigns making him that monster? If you think about it, it was feuding with Roman Reigns that got Braun Strowman to that next level. It was Roman Reigns willingly taking a beating of Braun Strowman night after night. And he had good matches. And I feel like main event WrestleMania retired The Undertaker. And I feel like in that match, I think that's the match where I really started to see more on Roman Reigns. I think he was put in a situation where he had to be the ring general, because obviously after like 10 minutes Undertaker was pretty fucked. So that Roman Reigns took over and took control of that match. Then I feel like Reigns and Strowman was a feud of the year. Obviously Reigns, he beat Cena at No Mercy, and now he's reunited with the Shield, and then he won the Intercontinental title. Whereas other guys, I feel like if AJ hadn't have lost the title, and then he'd have probably been it, but I feel like his middle of the year was kind of I mean, obviously I wasn't a big fan of the feud of Shane McMahon. Then in hindsight, I feel like Owens and AJ was probably the most disappointing feud of the year. And although AJ was a good US champion, I don't think he was an amazing US champion. We'll say though, the past 2 months AJ has been on fire, so I feel like AJ had a great start of the year and a great end to the year. I mean, obviously he stepped it up when he won the title of Jinder Mahal, had that awesome match with Finn Balor at TLC, had Brock Lesnar's best match in 2 series. But Brock's best match in 2 years is Survivor Series. And in the same token, Kevin Owens, I feel like he was maybe the MVP at certain times of the year, but I feel like after the Superstar shake-up, and Kevin Owens' Face of America thing was kind of lame. and obviously that dragged on for a bit. And then I think he picked up again in the feud with Shane McMahon. So, but for overall consistency, I'm going to have to go with Roman Reigns, as unpopular as that might be. Then we got Jay Shepherdson. Forcing Jinder Mahal's WWE title run. So yeah, I pretty much explained it when I talked about the question, was Jinder Mahal the worst champion in history. So I'll just obviously, like I said before, I thought it was terrible. As you know, I pretty much said all I need to say in that one. I mean, I thought he was a bad champion, he was a bad wrestler, not a great promo at all. So yeah, I don't really know what to add really. I pretty much had my little rant earlier on, so I don't really want to go back and go over it in more detail, I'll be honest with you. Thoughts on WWE as a whole this year. I feel like it's just been such a frustrating experience. What's sad though is I feel like they've got the talent on the roster to have a really great show, but they don't. So I feel like, I've just been frustrated a lot this year, I really have. I thought the Royal Rumble was a good show overall, but the whole Royal Rumble match was kind of, whatever. And the road to WrestleMania was decent, I thought. I didn't think it was fantastic. Definitely like it could have been better. I feel like obviously Cena and Taking Out happening was a big one for me. The Brock Goldberg thing I liked, but I don't think it necessarily needed the Universal title. I mean, I wasn't a big fan of 50-year-old Goldberg being the Universal Champion, to be honest with you. I mean, I got it. I got why they did it and all that, but I just didn't really enjoy it that much, to be fair. And then, of course, like the Brock Lesnar being champion and Brock Lesnar being gone for a while. And the Randy Orton-Bray Wyatt feud was okay, I guess. But the matches were kind of not that good. I mean, the WrestleMania match they had was disappointing. Don't even get me fucking started on the House of Horrors match. I'm not going to go there. That was awful. The build-up of Reigns Taker should have been a lot better in my opinion. I think the problem was, I think this has been a big problem with there's too many pay-per-views now. I mean, there was a pay-per-view 4 weeks before WrestleMania. So the Raw side only really had a month's build to WrestleMania. And I thought WrestleMania was fun overall, but I don't think it was a fantastic show. And then the Superstar shake-up happened, and I just feel like SmackDown, especially as I explained before, just went to complete shit. So I think a lot of people liked SmackDown in 2016, me included. But oh god, yeah, then of course obviously Jinder Mahal comes out of nowhere, was pretty much a jobber, and then 7 weeks later was a WWE champion. That's probably one of the biggest problems I had of the reign. There was no build up at all. Jinder was not seen as a top guy. I mean, put this in perspective, WrestleMania, he was in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. I think after WrestleMania, he lost to Sami Zayn in like 2 minutes. And then, like, a week after becoming on SmackDown, became the number 1 contender for the WWE title. Then 5 weeks after that, he was a champion. What the fuck? So he went from the SmackDown, pretty much, went from the top feud of being AJ Styles versus John Cena to like 4 or 5 months later, Randy Orton versus Jinder Mahal. So, do you see the difference? And then obviously the pay-per-views started coming thick and fast. It was a big disappointment really. Then we had, then the summer was kind of nothing exciting really happened at all. I mean, SummerSlam was a disappointing show, but then obviously, I think it got a little bit better. I mean, I think like build up at No Mercy was pretty decent, and No Mercy was a good show. I think the Kevin Owens Shane McMahon feud really carried SmackDown. Then obviously the New Day versus the Usos was a really good feud. But then it was obviously the women's division. Obviously the whole Bayley burial, Sasha Banks kind of just floundering. Alexa Bliss has done well, but that's about it. The SmackDown. I mean, like Naomi was just an alright champion. I don't think she was great or anything like that, or even that good. I mean, she was just kind of there. Then Natalya becomes a champion all of a sudden. But now it looks like that's picked up Charlotte's a champion, Asuka's on Raw, so hopefully that'll get better. Yeah, I've just been frustrated most of the year. Nothing's really excited me anymore. I mean, there's not many great angles in WWE now. I mean, The two great moments for me, I'll stop there because we'll get to that. So we'll get to that. But yeah, some great moments, because I was only one of your questions about top moments of the year. So yeah, I just feel like there has been some positives, such as the tag division. I feel has been generally excellent this year for the most part. Like I feel like the Owens and Shane McMahon feud was very well done. Obviously Braun Strowman, his rise has been really good to see. That's been a big positive in the WWE, although I could have done without him getting beat off Lesnar in 9 minutes, but that's another issue then. Obviously, happily, we turned around and AJ Styles is now the champion again, so I'm happy about that. But then you look at the negatives, the general decline in SmackDown, Jinder Mahal's title reign, the Mahal Nakamura feud in particular, Baron Corbin being Money in the Bank and then losing it in completely lame fashion like it did. The whole failure of the Jason Jordan experiment, let's be honest. Jason Jordan pushes hasn't worked, has it really? Let's be honest about that. The lame as fuck pay after Samoa Joe Brock Lesnar, because I was so excited about that feud and then they pretty much deflated me for a 6-minute match. That really bothered me. And then obviously, I feel like the Kevin Owens Face of America thing was just kind of lame on SmackDown. Just really didn't do much for me at all. So then obviously like the whole thing of Bayley and Alexa Bliss, that was a terrible feud for Bayley. They pretty much murdered Bayley as a character in my opinion. The whole thing where Sasha Banks had the title for 8 whole days. Because you know what's actually true? Sasha Banks is a 4-time Raw Women's Champion, yet she's never successfully defended the title. And obviously it's just the generalness of Nakamura's main run being a bit of a letdown. So yeah, the bad completely outweigh the good in my opinion. Then what have we got? Right, this is one where I'm going to cheat. You want me to rank the WWE pay-per-views this year. However, it's my Q&A, so I'm going to bend the rules. Problem is, there's been like 20 of them, and a lot of them have been about the same quality, so it's really hard to rank them. So instead I'm going to do a top 5 and a bottom 5. So, the best one I would probably say is Survivor Series. That was a great show overall. And number 2, I would say, yeah, we'll go with WrestleMania because I overall had a lot of positives. Best single brand, I'd say No Mercy was a good show, probably the best Raw pay-per-view of the year. Was it Payback? Payback was a good show with Reigns and Strowman main event. And number 5, we'll go for the Royal Rumble. Great undercard, not so good Royal Rumble then. Bottom 5, like I said before, I haven't watched this pay-per-view, so I just take people's opinions and accept them. Battleground is the worst. Fastlane was worse. Set number 2. Backlash, did not like Backlash at all. Thought Money in the Bank was completely forgettable. Then, what else? Because there's been so many pay-per-views. Elimination Chamber. There's been that many pay-per-views, I simply just cannot remember them all off the top of my head. I mean, I really do wish you'd go back to 12 pay-per-views a year in 2018. They're not going to. Like I think they've got like 16 to 18, but I think it'd be a lot better if we had just one pay-per-view a month anymore. But they were best moments of the year, so there are a few good moments this year. But so I'll say the Festival of Friendship between Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens in like February, I think it was. That was fucking awesome. Absolutely fucking loved that segment. Just one of the best done, maybe the best, probably the best segment of the year, quite frankly. Just everything about it was great. The payoff was fantastic. This one, if it sticks, probably the Undertaker's retirement ceremony at WrestleMania, at the end of WrestleMania. You know the one where he took his hat and his coat and gloves and that all that off and put them in the ring. So, like I say though, if that sticks, that's the key there. Obviously Undertaker might wrestle again, he might not. We shall see about that. I feel like obviously the Kevin Owens, Vince McMahon angle on SmackDown where Kevin Owens headbutted Vince and attacked him. Loved that segment. I thought that was probably the best SmackDown segment of the entire year, to be honest with you. And it's ironic, probably the two best segments of the year involve Kevin Owens, just saying. And in NXT, I feel like when Tommaso Ciampa turned on Johnny Gargano to take over Chicago, that was an awesome heel turn in my opinion. And it's just a shame Ciampa got injured, so we haven't had the payoff yet, but looking forward to when Ciampa finally does come back and the whole Ciampa Gargano feud can get going. And then you got top 10 wrestlers of the year, so I'm gonna, so I don't know about order, but I'll go obviously Okada number 1, obviously. I mean, as great as Omega's been, I just don't think he's been as good as Okada. And in that vein, I'll put Okada at number 2. I feel like, no, Omega number 2, excuse me. Obviously, Omega's had a fucking amazing year this year. I mean, 2016 was great, 2017's been even better. He's gone from strength to strength. And now he's got a huge match coming up with Chris Jericho at Wrestle Kingdom in January. So, then number 3, Hiroshi Tanahashi. I mean, you got to go with him. I mean, a lot of the attention's been on Okada and Omega, but the old lion, Tanahashi's still got it. I mean, yeah, he's 3 awesome matches with Naito this year, 2 great matches with Bushi this year, a couple of excellent matches with Zack Sabre Jr. Then obviously number 4, we'll go with Tetsuya Naito. I know this is kind of, I'm going all New Japan, but that's where it's been happening this year. Naito, of course, Intercontinental title reigns, great matches with Tanahashi, won the G1, but I feel like 2018 is going to be Naito's real year. And for reasons I said before, we've got Roman Reigns in at number 5, the top guy in WWE. We'll have number 6, AJ Styles. So obviously, like I've explained that as well. Kevin Owens, put him in there. Just so we've got 4 New Japan and 3 WWE guys, and we'll put Tomohiro Ishii in there as number 8. I mean, some of his work has been out fucking standing this year, to be fair. Got to go with him. And then who else have we got? I'll give the nod to Kushida because he's had a fantastic year all around the globe, particularly New Japan's junior heavyweight division. He's really carried that, but he's done stuff in Ring of Honor. I mean, he's even been Ring of Honor TV champion this year, if I'm correct. And then of course, you know about this. He had a few great matches in WCPW with Zack Sabre Jr. and Will Ospreay. He won the WCPW World Cup this year in Newcastle. I think you were there for that. I think you told me that. Then we've got one more spot. We have 9. Who's going to be number 10? Let's have a think here. Put my little thinking hat on. We'll see who I can come with. Anyone in the NXT stand that's having an awesome year? Not really. We'll go with Braun Strowman. Alright, Braun Strowman. I'll tell you what. I'll put Strowman number 8, then put Kushida 9, and who else did I just fucking say? Oh fuck, I fucked it up. I fucked this up. Yeah, we'll put Braun Strowman number 8, Ishii 9, Kushida 10. So yeah, obviously Braun Strowman's been one of the real highlights of the WWE this year, with his character work and stuff like that. So there we go. There we go. The Double X Prince. If the Miz had stayed on SmackDown, should have been WWE champion. Well, he would have been a hell of a lot better champion than Jinder Mahal, right? Wouldn't he? Am I just saying? Yeah, in all seriousness, I think, like, yeah, why not? I mean, if he went to if he stayed on SmackDown, he would have had the feud with John Cena, wouldn't he? Then of course, that would have, feel like him winning the title would have been ideal. Him and Randy Orton could have had a decent feud on SmackDown for a little while. And I feel like obviously Nakamura and Miz would have been a hell of a lot better than Jinder and Nakamura. I feel like that would have been actually a much better feud for Nakamura, to be honest with you. I feel like Miz would have got more out with Nakamura than Jinder did. Then of course, obviously that could have led to Miz versus AJ Styles, which could have been a genuinely great feud. And obviously AJ could have beaten the Miz for the title. And everything would have just been a lot better, wouldn't it? What have we got? If Triple H fought Kurt Angle at SummerSlam, who would have won? Who the hell do you think would have won? Obviously Triple H would have won, wouldn't he? Because, well, Triple H. I mean, now in all seriousness, no, I imagine this match happened at SummerSlam. Triple H probably would have gone over just so he could make a point. I mean, like when he beat Sting and all that, so... Yeah, I would imagine Triple H probably would have won that match. Now we got... Who from the Superstar Shake-Up need to stay on the brand? For me it was Bray Wyatt. Yeah, I'll go with Bray Wyatt. I will say, I would have said Dean Ambrose, however... Ambrose getting back with Raw, then of course reuniting the Shield, swings that the other way for me. So if it wasn't for the Shield reuniting, I would have said Ambrose, and I can't really argue with your answer really. I mean, Bray Wyatt seems as good an answer as any for me. I suppose you could say that Miz, possibly, because I feel like Miz could have took the top heel spot, and actually no, fuck it, I'll go for Miz anyway. Sorry, I'm going to go for Miz, because yeah, he's done well on Raw, the Intercontinental Champion, all that, he's been kind of a top guy in a sense, but yeah, if he stayed on SmackDown, I feel like he could have been the top heel of the in the brand, definitely. So I'll go for Miz. Who should have won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal? I don't. Mojo Rawley's fine. I mean, I don't really care either way, to be honest with you. Gotta admit, like, I think the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal is just so insignificant now that it doesn't really matter who wins it. I mean, who's actually gained anything by winning this? Anyone? I mean, Cesaro? No. Big Show? Nope. Corbin? Corbin somewhat, maybe, I suppose. Rawley? Did Rawley really go on to do anything significant after winning the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal? So, I mean, you could say Strowman, but I don't think people would have cared about it, to be honest with you. So, yeah, just keep it on Rawley for all I care, to be fair. Then we got who deserved to beat Brock Lesnar more. Samoa Joe, Braun Strowman. I'll go with Strowman. I mean, I don't think Samoa Joe didn't really need to beat Brock Lesnar. I mean, the reality is Samoa Joe's a veteran. He's in his mid-30s now. I mean, he's not that much younger than Brock, actually. Obviously, Samoa Joe necessarily needs to be a champion in WWE. Because I feel like, obviously, for a guy like Joe, not really a long-term investment. I don't really expect Joe to be there in 2 or 3 years' time. I feel like just having him and Brock Lesnar having a kick-ass match and then Lesnar going over would be absolutely fine. So I think Strowman needed the win more than Samoa Joe did. I wish we had the balls to have Lesnar lose to Strowman at No Mercy. I feel like that would have been better in my opinion. I feel like Strowman had the momentum. Because obviously I'm worried that you might not get a title reign now, because you're thinking, obviously it's going to be Lesnar Reigns at WrestleMania, and then when they put the belt on Brock and on Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, they're probably going to want to have Roman Reigns be a long-term champion. So where does that leave Braun Strowman? I mean, maybe if he goes to SmackDown in 2018, and maybe they could do that actually, to be fair. I mean, if Strowman's a babyface, he could be the WWE champion on SmackDown, Reigns could be the Universal champion, and it could be kind of like the Cena Batista 05-06 vibe, where Reigns is a star of Raw and then Strowman's a big star of SmackDown. So, but I do feel like Strowman, even if Strowman had the title for a little bit and then maybe dropped it back to Brock at the Royal Rumble, that would have been, I feel that would have been a lot better in my opinion. So Strowman for that one. Then last set of questions come from Mr. Prince of Strong Style 9v2. Where would you rank Okada's year in the best, amongst the best individual years? Flair, E9, Kurt Angle, 02, etc. It's got to be right up there, to be honest with you. So I think it's better than Angle's in 02. It's probably as good as Triple H. So I can't say it's better than Flair in 89, to be honest with you. As much as I love the Okada Omega matches, I am a bigger fan of Flair Steamboat. Then I feel like Flair had another he had two of the best feuds of his career in that year with Ricky Steamboat and Terry Funk. So I would rank it below. It's probably, yeah, I'd probably go maybe 2 at the highest, because I feel like it wasn't as good as Flair's 89. It was probably around the level of a Triple H 2000 or a Bret Hart of 1994. If we're talking overall, not just ring work, you've got to put Austin 98 in there as well. So I would say hovering around the top 3. Then we got top 5 most improved and top 5 breakout stars of 2017. So we'll do improved first. Obviously, this one's easy. Number 1, Braun Strowman. That's not even close, to be honest with you. From where Braun Strowman was at the start of the year to where Braun Strowman is now, is totally different. Now, number 2, I'm going to throw this one out here, but I'm going to go with Xavier Woods. I mean, and the thing is, because first 2 or 3 years of the New Day, it was really Big E and Kofi Kingston doing most of the heavy lifting in the matches and stuff. And Xavier Woods was there to talk on the microphone and do the whole little trumpet gimmick. I mean, but I feel like, especially in the feud of the Usos, we've seen Xavier Woods take more of an active role in these matches. And I feel like now, Xavier Woods is a more than good in-ring performer, so I think he's definitely plays a bigger role in the New Day now. You got to go with him. Then obviously New Japan, I'll go with Juice Robinson, of course. Look how he's steadily improved over the years. I mean, first breakout matches was what you call them, Naito. Can't remember the show that was, and then of course some of his G1 performances were excellent. He had a career best match with Kenny Omega at Destruction in whichever one it was, Kobe I think it might have been. Not sure about that. Then number 3 for me anyway, Will Ospreay. Was not a fan. I did not used to like Will Ospreay. I used to think he was just a flip monkey and all that. That's all he did, is his flips and all that. But I watched more and more of him this year. I feel like, especially wrestling people like Kushida, he's more of an all-round performer now. I mean, yeah, he still does his flips and all that, but I feel like he does more. And then I'll tell you what the match that turned me around his opinion on, when he wrestled Rey Mysterio in WCPW, and not sure if Jay was there or not. You might have been. But I feel like obviously Mysterio being more limited now. I feel like Ospreay became more of a ring general that match and helped carry the match. He slowed the match down a little bit and just had a more, what's the word, cohesive match where a lot more of it just made sense and all that. So got to go up Will Ospreay now. Who else? Have a think. You got to think. Oh, the Velveteen Dream. Wow. Just the strides he's made are incredible. I mean Patrick Clark and Tough Enough. Starting the year, getting appearances at NXT here and there, not really having a clear direction. Then the repackage of the Velveteen Dream earlier this year, and then obviously TakeOver War Games for like he had the career performance against Aleister Black. And I see big things in the future for Velveteen Dream. At 22 years of age, this guy could be one of the futures of the WWE. Really could. Then number 5 most improved. Go for tag team, the Authors of Pain. I mean, yeah, they came through in 2016, but I think it was to work with DIY and Revival this year. That obviously, I think this is what developmental's all about. NXT is still a developmental territory, despite its success and all that. I feel like these guys, because one of my biggest gripes about NXT is they seem to just hire indie veterans and then shoot them to the top. And the Performance Center guys aren't getting the chance. But I feel like the Authors of Pain are one of those teams that really got that chance to be really something special. And they're both in the mid-20s, like 24, 25 or something like that. So look at their age. These two guys could well be the future of tag team wrestling in the WWE. I mean, I expect them to probably come up to the main roster in 2018, and let's see. So then we got so same question was top 5 breakout stars. So obviously number 1's got to be by far and away Braun Strowman, hasn't it really? But like I say, he's probably been the best guy WWE's made in fuck knows. Probably since the Shield, to be honest with you. Like homegrown guys come in and becoming successful. I mean, yeah, it's got to be Braun Strowman, really, hasn't it, as number one. Number two in New Japan, obviously Juice Robinson. I'll go with him. Obviously, I feel like he's had a unbelievable year. Going from pretty much nowhere to being one of the top prospects in all of New Japan, and really excited to see where he goes in 2018. I've got good expectations for him. Probably say Marty Scurll. I mean, obviously he's a guy I'd heard of, I'd never really seen properly till this year. I mean, obviously he's done well in Rev Pro and all that, but then he's Ring of Honor television champion this year, pretty sure. And of course now he's end of the year as the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion, so he's got to have done well. And this might be another controversial, but like, even though I'm not a fan of him, and considering where he started the year and where he became, you've got to say Jinder Mahal, haven't you, really? I mean, yeah, granted his title reign sucked and all that, but he went from a going nowhere jobber to a WWE champion, regardless of how his title reign was received. That's, you can't say he hadn't broken out. I mean, it remains to be seen if he'll stay in the main event scene after this, but I don't know. Then one more for breakout. Trying to think really. Yeah, probably Xavier Woods, for the reasons I said before, like about him being kind of just the mic guy and the trumpet guy in the New Day, to being a very capable in-ring performer now. So yeah, and then what have we got? Would you consider tag team wrestling in the New Japan Junior division? Some highlights this year. Tag team in WWE, yes. In New Japan, not really, to be honest with you. But WWE, absolutely. I mean, on all three brands as well. I mean, I feel like Sheamus and Cesaro have done an outstanding job on Raw. We've had teams like, with Gallows and Anderson were doing alright for a bit. Hardy's was a nice little nostalgic run for a little while anyway, although I do feel like that was a bit of a disappointment overall. Ambrose and Rollins, a fantastic addition to the division. And of course, SmackDown, Usos and New Day. 2 thumbs up for those guys, they fucking killed it. They had, for me, one of the best tag feuds in the main roster in years and years and years. So, and then as far as New Japan Junior division, yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously like to Okada or Omega taking all the plaudits, and rightfully so. And then obviously guys like Tanahashi, Naito and all that rightfully take the plaudits, but quietly a fantastic junior division was developed. I mean, let's be honest, the Kushida Takahashi feud was outstanding. Like, Takahashi did a great job as champion. Then obviously it was a really underrated match that I saw, which I'll get into in a sec, of Takahashi and Ricochet from, you'll know what show I'm talking about. Then obviously Will Ospreay came in New Japan regular this year. Marty Scurll has been regular this year. Dragon Lee. And obviously that's the lead of the big 4-way that's coming up with Wrestle Kingdom. So definitely. And then we got, who were some wrestlers that you saw for the first time this year that impressed you and you wish to see more of? So I think people I saw for the first time, I mean, I'd seen Ishii before, obviously in 2016, but I didn't really take much notice of how good he was. And this was the year I saw more. This is the year I really became a fan of him, saw more of him. And I fucking love Ishii's work. But I had seen him in 2016, but I didn't really appreciate how good he was till now. I think Kushida stands out, and for me, I'd never seen any Kushida matches until this year. Really impressed by him, absolutely love his work. He's done an outstanding job in New Japan. Hopefully, I'd like to see him do more in 2018. The one is kind of cheating, but Juice Robinson, I mean, obviously saw him as CJ Parker back in NXT, but this is different in my opinion. This is a different guy now. I mean, obviously it's the same guy, but you know what I mean, different, totally different performance. I mean, he's come through New Japan and done extremely well for himself. I've got nothing but for him, really. And I think I'd never really watched Marty Scurll into this year. I still haven't seen as much Marty as I'd like, but I really like what I've seen so far. I feel like he's got charisma. And the one now, Keith Lee, I finally got to discover Keith Lee this year. He's been in the indie scene for a couple of years now, but I never really watched him. So I've seen think I've seen like 4 Keith Lee matches so far this year. And I'd definitely like to see him. Obviously, the match he had with Dijak at PWG Battle of Los Angeles. A little bit overrated, but a great match. I don't know if I've actually told you this, but so it was a match. I think it was Evolve. Match you had with Matt Riddle was a free match on YouTube. I'm sure it was. It must have been Evolve. That was an awesome match, and of course, the big match I've seen from Keith Lee was that classic match of Ishii RPW Global Wars last month. So those guys are the ones that stick out. And the last question of the Q&A, we're getting an hour and 35 minutes. Hidden Gems and Classics of 2017. So we'll go with WWE first and go through NXT, and then New Japan, then maybe a couple of other promotions. So I feel like WWE, I think ultimately Reigns and Owens at the Royal Rumble was a really underrated match now. Probably because seen when AJ Styles stole the show and all that good shit. But this match was fucking awesome, and keep an eye out for me top matches of the year. This you'll see how highly I rated this one. What have we got? Neville and Jack Gallagher from Fastlane. Really enjoyed that match. That's probably the best match of that show. It wasn't a fantastic match, but a really good match overall. Then I think on the same token, Neville and Aries WrestleMania 33 kickoff. That deserves a mention. AJ versus Sami Zayn versus Baron Corbin on SmackDown just after the shake-up triple threat match. That was a fantastic match. Definitely worth watching if you haven't seen it. What else? Trying to think. Fuck. Mine's gone blank. Samoa Joe, Seth Rollins from Payback. That was a great match. Really enjoyed. It was a borderline great match in my opinion. Enjoyed that match quite a bit. Kevin, I'm trying to think. AJ Styles, Chad Gable. It was only a 5-minute match on SmackDown about June maybe? June or July, I can't remember which one, but definitely a match that was worth checking out for sure. Let's have a think. Trying to think now. Put me on the spot here, man. I see the Fatal 5-Way from No Mercy for the women's title. Alexa, Sasha, Bailey, Nia Jackson. I think Mickie James, but I could be wrong. Could be wrong about that. Actually, New Day versus the Usos at Money in the Bank. I mean, for as great as all the other matches were, this was the first one they had, and that was a really good match as well. The Sin City Street fight they had on SmackDown. Pretty sure that was the same show of Kevin Owens and Vince's big angle at the end. Nakamura versus Orton on SmackDown. That for me was Nakamura's best main roster match so far. Just a really good match. I feel like if Nakamura and Orton had 20 minutes on a pay-per-view, this could be a great match. Definitely think that match was better than Nakamura Cena from July, or possibly August. I can't remember exactly the date. So yeah, that's about it really then. NXT, Pete Dunne and Mark Andrews from, I want to say late February. It wasn't the UK title tournament one. It was a match later on in NXT between these two guys. Just on NXT TV. It was really awesome stuff. This one kind of a judgment call because technically it happened in 2016, but that's TM61 versus DIY from January the 4th edition of NXT. Because like I say, technically this was taped in December of 2016. So, but I'm going to include it anyway because why the hell not? Why not? Drew McIntyre versus Roderick Strong from October the 4th. Awesome match there. Hideo Itami and Roderick Strong from, I want to say early May. This is one where Tommy beat Strong to become the #1 contender for the NXT title. Strong and Almas from, I want to say San Antonio. That was a really good match. That awesome 5-minute sprint that Drew McIntyre and Oney Lorcan had in like, I think it was Drew's first match back in NXT. I'm pretty sure it was. Just after WrestleMania season. Can't remember the exact date of that show, but that match definitely deserves to be checked out. And that's about it. New Japan. Let's have a think about New Japan here. Shibata versus Goto from Wrestle Kingdom. Obviously not the best match of the night, but pretty damn good. War Machine versus Ken Kojima and Tenzon from Sakura Genesis. Actually a fantastic tag team match, in fairness. Really good match, actually. Borderline great, in fact, to be fair. That Ricochet Takahashi match from, oh bugger, whatever show it was, you'll know what I'm on about. And in the same vein, I think won the New Beginning match. They've got Omega and Elgin from whatever night that was in the G1. Trying to think, to be honest. I kind of like the Bushi versus Bad Luck Fale. That was actually kind of an entertaining match, to be fair. We had Juice versus Kojima. Was that? I'm pretty sure that was one. Pretty sure it was. Yeah. Ishii versus Naito. Oh, fuck's sake! Right. Sorry, my internet's just fucked. My phone's fucking up here. So this recording might be a bit messed up because my phone keeps fucking putting adverts on, going on the internet and stuff. Right, sorry. I can't remember where I was now. Fuck. Ishii versus Naito from both the G1 Climax and the King of Pro Wrestling. So yeah, that's about it, I think. That's a wrap, guys. So thanks for the questions. So just to let people know, I'm going to have a little bit of it. I'm going to be quiet on the channel for a while now, December and all that. So coming up will be top 15 New Japan matches of 2017. For the first time ever, I'm going to do that. And then, of course, this is tradition now. Top 5 WWE NXT matches of 2017. And then Clash of Champions 2017 review. Then after that, of course, the last video of the year will be top WWE main roster matches of 2017. Obviously, I'm waiting for Clash of Champions to happen to see if anything gets into the list. So that's a wrap, guys, and I'm out for now, and peace.